Hey everyone, this is the Innovators Mindset with Sean Kelly. There we go, my guy. Sean Kelly. All right, man. I am so excited to be with Sean Kelly. We have a very good mutual friend. And you know what? It's funny. Like I've never said Aaron's last name. Is it Doak? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so Aaron and I connected years ago in Ottawa at a conference there that I was speaking. And then she reached out to me probably about 2 months ago, or 2 to 3 months ago. We started reconnecting, and she connected us. And I'll tell you, she's like talks pretty highly of you. It's pretty amazing. So I know you're currently a superintendent. Is it Ottawa Catholic School Board, or is it?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I know I don't want to get them mixed up here too. In Canada, there is an Ottawa in Canada. So I'm really excited to talk to you. I know you're doing some really great stuff at the high school level, and you reached out to me to talk about some podcasting stuff that you want to do. So I'm like, well, let's get you on a podcast.
It's good. I need some modeling.
You go first. So Sean, if you can just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what you do today and how you got there, I think it's a great place to start.
Yeah. Thanks, George. And thanks for taking some time with me.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that the school board that I'm in, Ottawa Catholic School Board, I've been here for over 50 years. I started 3.5. I remember the day my dad brought me into the office, and oh my God, I was scared. And I loved parts of school, but there was parts of school that certainly didn't interest me. I had some great educators, but it just took me a while to figure it all out. But like, I think Miss Belici, grade 2, raising chicks from eggs. And I thought, oh my God, I can still remember however long that unit was. I still see her at church. Shout out to Miss Belici. And all along, Mr. McGovern, music, 5 years of music in high school. The guy taught me how to be a teacher. That's why I thought, I think I could do this. And I love teaching. Teaching was fantastic. I joke that I got bullied into administration by my friend Michael Curry. He wanted to take some courses. I'm like, nah. So come on, let's do this. And there was no looking back. But certainly the classroom experience, loving what I did in the classroom, I've carried that through and tried to be the same type of working hard to be a teacher learner in the position that I had in the classroom, and certainly what I do now. And Aaron, you bring up Aaron. That was somebody, I got to a new school and I gravitated to teachers that I could learn from. And she was incredible, just the stuff she did with kids. So I'd walk into her class when things weren't going great, or when they were going great, and just to see what great teaching was. And I'm still learning. I tell my department here that I've learned more about education since I left being a principal and am now a superintendent that I ever have. And I have that interest in continuing to learn.
Well, and that was funny. I was just with a group yesterday. One of the things I said that is really, really powerful is that when you go into like a principal position, an administrator position, you could become a better teacher because you get the best PD every teacher wishes they have. You get to see great teachers teach all the time, right? And there's a real power to that. I think the important aspect of it is that you're probably not teaching anymore. So how do you communicate some of those ideas to your new teachers because you have the flexibility to move around? And I really appreciate your focus on teaching. And I'm not saying I'm in this category, but I'm the same as you. I never wanted to go into school admin. I was like kind of tricked into it as well. And many of the people that I know who are really great school administrators had no interest in doing it, but someone tapped them because they saw something in them. And I think that's a really big thing. One of the things I've seen over the years, a lot of people will talk about their administrators that really made an impact on them. They said they saw something in me I didn't see in myself, right? And I love that you have that focus on teaching and most importantly, learning, because you are always servant to the people that you work with and connect. So I love that focus. You said basically when we got on here, you just did some work with your new administrators. What was some of the messaging that you had for them? Because I know a lot of times we talk about new teachers, but being a new administrator is kind of daunting as well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I always lead with, you don't need a new list of who you have to be as an administrator. It's not a new book. It's not a new package of things. You'll have to refine things, but I tell them you're here likely because you were a great classroom teacher and somebody saw that in you. That's what you need to continue to hang on to. The other thing I will say to them is you're going to wear stuff. Like there's people, I guess, some of the crud, it just washes off them. But I mean, I tell them
Yeah.
I'd be thinking about the parent call the next day at 2 a.m. when I'm lying there wide awake. And I don't want them to think that doesn't mean you're not good for the job. I said, I learned from those things. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I come up with some pretty good ideas and things to say. So wear it. Don't let it consume you. But just because those things weigh on you, it doesn't mean that you're not cut out for admin. I still carry these stories along.
That's like I don't know if you ever saw the Seinfeld episode where
I've seen them all.
George is eating too much shrimp and he's in his car and he's like, that's what I should have said. that's the first thing I thought of when you said that. Because, geez, I've had some of those days. I'm like, that's what I should have said. That would have been so much better at that time. But yeah, it is an emotionally wearing job. And I think especially with new administrators, really the advice I always try to give people too is that like, don't try to go in and change people, learn who they are, understand the culture of the places that you're working into. Because if people think you're trying to fix them, they're going to fight you, right? But if they know you value them, they'll be more open to any push. And as long as they see you growing as obviously you do as well. So I really appreciate that emphasis because I'll tell you, like I haven't been a principal, in a while, and I wake up from nightmares and stuff. I said too. So it's not just a couple of weeks. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
One of the things that you are focusing on, you told me ahead of time, and I think it is really important because I don't a lot of school, I don't even know if I want to say this because like I just have a lot of different experiences. It's almost somewhat diminished, but I know you have a big focus on CTE. I don't know if that's what it's called in your school board, but that you do lots of stuff with the trades. What is some of that work that you're doing in your school board, and why is it like so important not only to learning for kids but for our communities as well?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the market right now. Like we know trades are desperate for individuals to choose that as an opportunity to work in that area. And I think the ministry recognizes that, but they're just the I would say the traditional educational approach. There's been some opportunities there. We have a youth apprenticeship program that's been around for quite a while. We do cooperative education, but it's all really you're going back to the classroom at some point and continuing that regular traditional approach, which works for some people. That's what they want. What we're doing now, though, is giving students an opportunity right outside the classroom. We're bringing that experience, whether it's masonry or carpentry or automotive, we're bringing them right into that, working with industry partners so that it's not a picture in a textbook or something like that. They're actually talking to people doing the work and learning on the job and building a wall in the middle of a classroom space that we have and taking it down because there was an error, but learning from that and rebuilding it. And so much of that you can't teach in a regular environment. So we're expanding. It's really about giving kids and families choice beyond what maybe has traditionally been available to them. We had a great experience this summer. There's a cafeteria space here at the board office, and it didn't work out with the service provider. So it's kind of been empty for a couple of years, but I really wanted to get kids back to the board office. I mean, we don't have kids here. We have adults working for kids, but to get kids into the environment. So I've had a partnership with a Red Seal chef. His name's Wes Wilkinson. I'll give him a shout out. He works at the local college here and teaches there, but has always wanted to connect with high school. So we had a group of full-time co-op students in here working with Wes and a partner. So they were making food for the staff here, but they also partnered with community agencies. So not only were they cooking for the staff here, they made over 1,800 meals over the month of July and into August that they brought into the community. So they were serving the community with this, and the learning that these kids did, just working together collaboratively and understanding that, there's a world out there that we maybe need to pay attention to. And maybe my interest in culinary can connect to that part of it. So just seeing that kind of learning was incredible. It was a lot of fun.
You know, so I don't know how familiar you are with kind of my background and stuff like that, but a lot of my leadership philosophy was taught to me by my mom and dad in a Greek restaurant. Do you know what I mean? Like growing up in a restaurant. So like when you look at culinary, it's not just how good the food is, it's the experience that people have when they come in there. And it's something that I always think about in that work. And I so appreciate this because I think when I was in high school, it was almost like the trades were like kind of looked down upon.
Absolutely.
And I so appreciate that, there is, I have, master's, couple of degrees and stuff like that. And I will tell you, when a plumber comes to my house, they are the smartest person here because I don't know what they're doing. And it's like, it's just really important to realize that there's so many different skills and needs in our community that are really, really important. And I'm glad more and more schools are emphasizing this because it is something that there's a huge need for it. But I appreciate that you're putting it up on, I don't know if the pedestal is the right word, but you're elevating it for sure. Because I think that really, really matters. So the last question I'm going to ask you is, you've sat through with me with the podcast. What is your hope for the podcast? Because I know I don't think this is for you specifically, more about your school board, emphasizing, you talked about before, really highlighting student voice. What is the hope for your podcast in your community? What are you trying to achieve through that? Because I think this is a really good lesson for any, school or district that's listening to this right now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, I told you earlier that I dropped it out there. So now I have to do it. I mentioned it
No,
in
it's
the
being
spring.
recorded now, man.
Now I got to do it. So I got to figure out how to do it. But
Right.
really, it's a few things. The first thing is awareness. And I talk about our department. I work with the smartest, most creative, innovative, caring teachers that you can find. And they do an incredible job. And it's a lot of it's behind the scenes. They're out there working with teachers as well and principals, admin teams in schools, but so much of that work happens maybe when people aren't seeing it. So it's really about shining the light on that, sitting down, talking to some of the consultants here in the department and just bringing awareness to what they do. How do they enhance a student experience in a school that's not even in this building? Like, how do they have value at the school down the road? So bringing some awareness to that, that's within the board, but reaching out into the community. And I know the power of a podcast, and having followed you, George, for a long time, you get out there and people start hearing names and connecting. Okay, you work here. And so to create some of those partnerships, we've had a great opportunity. I mentioned the gentleman from one of the local colleges, Skills Council Canada. You got to look them up, George. Brad Wazell, Kate O'Neill. They do some great work promoting trades, promoting clean water initiatives. And we had a chance meeting, and they are now doing a great job. They supported the summer program we had running here with the co-op students in the cafeteria. They are totally consumed around enhancing a student's learning experience. And I know there's other agencies out there. So if we can highlight what we're doing and allow people in the community to make connections to that, I think that's a great way of creating partners and moving forward together.
One of the best things about podcasting, and I really encourage any administrator to do this, is it teaches you a leadership skill that I do not think we emphasize enough, is to listen to people. Mm-hmm. Like, just sit and listen. And I think that has been the most eye-opening thing for me, is really trying to listen and kind of connect some of your ideas, some of the stuff that we're doing. Anyone who's thinking about doing this, and I'm going to give you this advice, Sean, don't try to get all the fancy equipment. Don't have the perfect setup. Just go. And then as you develop it, the equipment, and then eventually when you do shout outs, you can You got buttons and stuff. But that, like, I actually remember when I started this podcast, I was like, I just got to figure this out. And I would sit in a chair in a dark room and I would just record myself on my phone. And now, it's really cool. I never thought I'd have guests on. That was not my intent. It was like, I'm going to just share 10 minutes of mine. I'm like, I don't have that much to say. I got to get other people on here. And it was really, really helpful. So this is like, podcast number whatever for me, but now maybe this is number one for you. This is the first one, right? So I maybe this is the one that starts it off like, hey, because now you got to do it.
This is good. And I went to the top. This is great. I didn't start with one of my daughters or something. I got George Corliss.
Stop it.
Fantastic. I appreciate you being on my podcast, George.
I love it. I'm telling you, I don't know your daughters. I promise you they are better than anything I can say immediately. So, hey, everyone, make sure you connect with Sean. I am looking forward to seeing that, learning more about your community through their voices and through you elevating them. So I so appreciate you being on the podcast. Aaron, I got to give Aaron, thank you for connecting us. And I'm like trying to press, I told you I'm out of practice. Aaron a show, but hey, Sean, all the best to you. Hey, last question I got for you. Who's your hockey team? I'm like curious. You grew up in Ottawa, but I knew the Senators weren't there. So who's your team? I'm going to out you to everybody.
It's got to be the Senators, but I was one of those Canadian kids that didn't learn how to skate, George. I'm a Blue Jays fan.
Oh, yeah. And this is their year. This is it, right?
Their year. We're doing well. It's good.
It's funny you don't skate because one of my favorite, I've never done it, but one of the coolest things I've ever seen is it the canal?
Yeah.
That you can skate around. That is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So I guess me and you, next time I'm in Ottawa, I'm throwing on some skates and we're going.
We'll hold hands and go down together.
All right, maybe not, but we're going. I don't know with that part. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for being on, Sean. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day.